Back on the show now, you know who it is. Brady Bam Bam Hiestand, who's got another big fight this time, April the 15th, and he'll be taking on Danaa Batgerel. Brady, how are you?
Good. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I probably butchered your opponent's name, but I was trying to know how to pronounce it correctly. Do you know?
Dude, I know I don't really know. I just call him Dana. So I'm really bad with names in general, and then you throw in the Mongolian name, it kind of throws me off. But I know what he looks like, and I've watched his fight, so that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, and I mean he's got a very impressive record. He's 12-4, coming off two straight losses. So he's going to be coming in with a lot of fire in him to snap that skid and get back in the winning column. First, I just want to ask, when you put pen to paper, because this was just announced.
Yeah, I literally put pen to paper like a day before that it was announced. Like I signed it, and then the next day it was announced. So it was really quick on this one, opposed to the Fernie one, which I'm not sure what's the difference in either one, but before it took like a week for them to finally announce it.
What did you think when you first heard of this opponent? Did you really like it for yourself?
I did, yeah. I do. I think it's a little step up in competition from my last fight, but a very similar fight with the fact that he's a good striker. He hits hard. He has some good finishes. But it's similar. He's a little bit older. He's 10 years older than me. Like you said, he's on two fight losing skid, but I think he's gonna be looking to make a statement. So he's gonna be coming back hungry because who knows? Maybe this if he goes 0-3, that could be the end of a UFC contract.
Very true. You see that an awful lot. His most recent loss was a UD loss, but prior to that, Chris Gutierrez actually stopped him. Were you able to pick up anything from that fight and what Chris did to go in there and maybe implement this into your game plan?
I see like I was going over with my couple of my teammates. He's good, like he's a good striker. He's usually stays in good position, but he rises up when he throws like when he's walking you down with a combination. And Gutierrez was really good at staying on the outside. And he caught him with that back fist and when he was coming in with his chin high. And so, obviously I look at everything that he does, like a lot of tendencies and stuff like that. But that's something to look for sure.
Yeah, we'll circle back to this because I want to go through some other stuff with you, but obviously April 15th, it's a ways out. So you got your whole training camp ahead of you, a lot of time to prepare. I want to get your thoughts on UFC 283, man. I'm sure you watched it. I mean, the main event, I'm a huge Glover fan, so I was pulling for him. But what Jamal Hill did and winning the light heavyweight title is truly remarkable. He looked fantastic, and the heart that Glover showed. Yeah, I mean, he's like the modern, like the real life Rocky, right? What is your thought just on that main event?
Yeah, it was incredible. I think it's a redemption from the last light heavyweight title fight, right? Um, I think they both came out and looked really good. I was worried that Hill was going to get tired. I think that was what everyone was, never knew about is if he was going to be able to go all 5 rounds. And he looked great. He even looked like he may be fatigued after the first couple rounds, even getting taken down and stuff like that. But he held through and he stayed composed and he got the job done. But yeah, going back to Glover, to be able to go and compete at the highest level at 43 is incredible. And he lost, but dude, his stock rose so much just from being able to compete at that fight. And that was a good fight to go out on for him, I think.
Do you think that maybe after a little time passes and he heals up, his body feels better again, that we could see him in there again? Because I don't think after everything he's accomplished, he's still fighting at such a high level. I can't imagine he wants to go out like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it was a loss, but I think it was a good last fight. To end a career on a banger like that, which I think could have been fight of the night for sure. Um, isn't a bad way to go out, especially if you're fighting for a title. You're fighting literally the second best guy in the world or one of the best guys in the world. But he's a fighter, dude. I think he might be back. I wouldn't put it past him, but I wouldn't also I'm on the fence, 50-50. I wouldn't put it past him to come back, but I think it's a good time to go. I mean, he's probably set. He's just doing this for legacy now, and his legacy's set, I think.
Oh, for sure. I mean, 43 years old now. What more can he prove? How dangerous do you think Jamal Hill's going to be for those other guys at the top of the division? Do you feel like he's someone that's going to retain that belt for a while, or is there someone that you think maybe when Yuri comes back, is there someone that you think can beat him and steal that belt back?
That's a good question. I feel like he's gonna keep the belt because one thing about Yuri is I think he gets hit, and Jamal Hill hits hard, and I think Glover's so tough and stuff like that. But I think if Jamal Hill can land on Yuri, that could be lights out, vice versa. But I just have a lot of confidence in Hill after seeing him, weather that storm and being able to get up after the grappling exchanges. And I think his mindset's there. He has a lot to fight for. He has kids at home. He's just getting started.
Yeah. Man, 6 kids, yeah, so, he's
Yeah, I
gonna be
know.
coming in there hungry to provide for them, and he's off to
For
a great start. He looks like he could be, with how young he is, maybe an all-time great. We'll see what happens there. Now, Moreno retained, or at least he, I guess, unified the belt, right? And Figueiredo now is going up a weight class to 135. What do you think of that? Do you think he's gonna be able to hang with the best at bantamweight?
Yeah, definitely is gonna be in the mix for sure. He was cutting so much weight. He was like in, I heard, like up to 170, which I've never even been to 170. So hearing stuff like that, like gets up to 170, cutting all the way to 25. I think that probably damaging his body, and I think he's probably going to even be even better at 35. He's going to be able to fill out. His whole camp's not going to be geared around a weight cut. He's actually going to be able to work on some skills and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see what he does at 35. Who knows? Maybe one day fight him. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. How do you see that going? Like, if you were just to, I guess, forecast that just right now, like, how would that fight play out?
Against me and him, I think I could overwhelm him. I think, definitely in the grappling department, as you see with Moreno. I think Moreno's a little bit smaller than me, but he's really good, slick on the ground, like similar to me. So I think on the ground, I feel like I definitely have the advantage, and my stand up's growing every day. So I would like to test myself, but wherever the fight goes, I would be feeling pretty comfortable. But that would be an exciting fight for sure, a banger.
Yeah, sign me up for that one. I would love to see
Yeah.
that. If you get this win here, I mean, obviously the UFC is not going to push Figueiredo right to the top of the division. I can't imagine. So he's probably going to have to fight his way up there. There's probably, I would say, a legitimate chance that maybe you could fight him later this year.
Maybe, yeah. Coming off this win, I'm not sure where I would lie in the rankings, but I'm sure he would fight someone that's off a winning streak. But I actually didn't even think about that. I was thinking that it would be way down the road, but after this win, it could be a possibility. Now you say that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I love it, man. So we'll see what happens here moving forward. I also wanted to get your take on the Lauren Murphy fight, and if you think it should have been stopped. A lot of people felt like she took too much damage, and her coaches should have stepped in, threw in the towel. What is your take on that?
Yeah, she, like you said, she took a lot of damage, and there was no. I think when you throw in the towel, it just shows that, like, there's no way that your fighter's gonna win, and I think that was kind of apparent by that last round. She wasn't dangerous anymore. She wasn't able to take her down. She wasn't able to get anything off. And so if I was the coach, I probably would have thrown in the towel just because there was no means to win. And your fighter's just getting beat up out there. And she's a little bit older, so you want to make sure you're saving her for the future fights. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, well, see, the hard thing is, like, for someone like you that's an actual active UFC fighter, I think your opinion means so much more, just because you guys go through all the blood, sweat, and tears just to get into the cage. So at the end of the day, I feel like, what you guys want needs to play a big factor in that, but also, the cornerman, whoever is there in her corner, needs to look out for the health of the fighter too. So I think that there's a very fine line and a nice healthy balance that needs to be factored into something like that.
Yeah, well, and like whoever's at the highest level, like at this level in the UFC, everyone's tough. And like Glover said after he retired, he's like, I'm too tough for my own good, right? And so you'll keep fighting up until you're like lights are out, you're choked out. You'll fight to the very end, and that's Lauren Murphy. But that's why we have corners. That's why we have people watching us from the outside. Because me looking at her as a fighter, I'm like, I would do the same thing. I would just keep fighting. But me looking out like at a different perspective, like if I was a quarterman, I'd be like, we need to stop this fight. I don't want my girl getting hurt. I don't want her to, get brain damage in the future just, to say we went to decision, and lost. Either way, you're going to lose. So might as well throw it in, stop it now, recover and come back better to fight another day.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. It was really, really tough fight to watch, but all in all, UFC 283 was a great card. Where did you watch it?
For sure. I went and watched it at one of the local bars around here, Spikes. They sponsor us, and so they hook us up, all the guys at the gym, with some food and some drinks and stuff like that. So went and watched it with my coach and my girlfriend. It was a good time.
Do you ever get approached in a good or bad way when you're out, like, at a bar and there's alcohol involved?
Not a bad way. Everyone's usually super friendly. Everyone gets a few drinks in, and because Spokane's kind of a small town, so everyone knows the fighters, and we're a fight town, so everyone loves the fight scene, and so everyone comes up and just chops it up. Everyone's super cool around here.
Okay, well, that's good because it's not always the case depending on where you're at in the world.
That's true. That's true. I'm like that was what I was thinking about with Terrence in Brazil. I wonder if anything happened after he took a few shots.
Yeah. Well, did you see what was it when uh who was it that was running backstage? It was
That was
Moreno.
Moreno.
It was
Yeah.
Moreno, and they were throwing like beer and everything on him. It was wild.
Yeah, for sure. Crazy, especially because he won in such a dominant fashion. You think you'd be, supporting that guy, but no, they were throwing shit at him. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it really was a hostile environment right there. Let's talk about camp for you getting ready for this fight. Definitely no short notice opportunity here. You're gonna have a full blown camp. How nice is that, Brady? To know that you're going to be going in there as prepared as possible.
Yeah, no, it's huge, especially because outside of camp, my weight goes up because I'm a fat kid at heart. I like to eat, so I get up to a little bit higher weight, like 160. So I need a little bit of time to diet down and in a healthy way, and then I love preparing. I'm a martial artist, so I like to study my opponent. I like to see what they like to do, and so I spend all my time, researching and training and stuff like that. So I love having a camp. It's really nice.
Now the fight again, April 15th. We don't even know where the venue is yet. Is it going to be in Vegas? Have they told you anything about that?
No, they haven't. I think the only thing they told me is it's stateside, so it's gonna be in the US. I heard it's supposed to be in front of a crowd, but I don't know. Um, yeah, so I don't really know. I know as much as you guys, so hopefully they tell us soon. I'm looking to have some fun with it, so hopefully I get to travel a little bit, but I guess we'll see.
Are you going to be disappointed if this is at the Apex and you don't get a full blown crowd?
It's kind of a double-sided sword because I'm so used to the Apex. It's like it's home. I've literally fought, including the Ultimate Fighter. I fought 5 times in the Apex or 4 times in the Apex now, and so this would be my fifth fight there. So that'd be kind of cool. But I want my friends and I want my family to be able to come and fly out and actually go experience it because there's only a limited amount of seats in the Apex. So I hope if it's in Vegas, that would be cool. But it would be awesome if it's like T-Mobile Arena or something like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. When you do have a bunch of supporters in the building, on a fight night, does that add more pressure to you? Like, how does that affect you mentally as you're making your walk to the cage and you're in the octagon?
It kind of gets me pumped up because I get to look over and I get to see my mom, my brother, my girlfriend, all my friends, and that gives me motivation. And it's like I don't want to lose in front of these people. Like I love these people, and I don't want them to see me get hurt, or they don't want to see me get hurt. So it adds to it. But once the cage door closes and I see my opponent, it's all the same. I don't spend time thinking about other stuff. I just got my opponent in front of me and I'm ready to go.
Do you plan on doing anything different for this camp? Are you going to travel at all? Are you just going to be right there in Spokane with the normal guys and girls around you?
I'll probably make a few trips down to Vegas. I got some good connections. Obviously, the PI's down there, so maybe go and spend a few weeks training down there. But I got a good support system up here. I got a good gym I train out for my grappling. I got Mike, Sam Cecilia, Osternet, all these killers, Ashton and Charlton up here in Spokane that'll get me ready for whoever. But yeah, probably just spend most of it in Spokane.
Does Chiesa have his next fight lined up yet? I haven't seen it if he does.
Nope, I don't think he does. But I think there might be something a brewing, but you don't know.
How would you compare his analyst abilities with the rest of the guys out there? I feel like he's one of the best.
I think so too. Yeah, he speaks super well. I think he's good at and he's good at articulating what he sees and what he's trying to explain. It's pretty cool the fact that he could do both. He's like what is he still top 10 in the world at 170, which is a sack division, and then goes out there and be an expert analyst. It's
Yeah,
pretty badass
he's the man. So I think it goes without saying you're probably going to get a lot of working with him for this camp.
for sure. Yeah, we're always training because we go to the same MMA gym, we go to the same jiu-jitsu school. So he's a little bit bigger, so we don't always train when we have specific people, but I always see him in the gym for sure. He's always in the room.
When he's at a camp, how big does he get? What do you know his weight? Does he get north of 200 pounds?
No, I don't think he gets that big. I think his weight's under control now. I think he's like around 200, but I'm not sure. But before, when he was a fight at 55, that was when the gap was pretty big. But I think he's figured it out now. in his older age. He's not eating so many, burritos outside of camp.
Fair enough. All right. Well, hey, let's dive into this matchup again. We'll call him Dana. I'm not even going to try and butcher his last name again. We've seen him in the UFC for a handful of fights now. As I mentioned earlier, Chris Gutierrez got him out of there. His most recent fight was a UD loss to Kung Ho Kong. Break this one down for me, Brady. Do you feel like this is a fight that could go into deep waters, or do you anticipate that you're going to get a finish here and make a statement?
My goal is always to get a finish. I want to go out there and I want to finish this guy. But after watching his fights, he's a tough dude. He's not going to go out, easy. Um, but I have ultimate confidence in my abilities to go out there and finish him, whether it be submission or catching him with a clean punch. I'm always going to be going out for the finish. That's gonna be my goal, and that's what I'm seeing for myself. But I'm not gonna look past this guy because this guy is a tough dude. He's been in some wars and he's survived and he's fought some of the best. Like obviously Gutierrez, he's on the climb right now. So that's not a loss to look at, just to look past. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this new challenge because I think this is going to be one of the toughest guys I fought. Um, yeah,
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. Like, do you think this is the toughest guy you fought? Is this your greatest challenge so far?
I wouldn't say he's my greatest challenge because I feel like I fought some tough guys. Like my first fight on the tough show was against Josh Reddinghouse, and Josh Reddinghouse back in the day, back when Marlon Moraes was on, world champion, World Series of fighting, he went all the way to decision with him, and I think Ricky's a great fighter and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say he's necessarily the best fighter, but he's a different fighter. I think he's better than a lot of my opponents, and he's really good striking and he hits hard. Obviously, he has a lot of good finishes. So it's just a different opponent, and presents different challenges.
When you look forward to 2023, towards the end of the year, where do you envision yourself? Do you feel like you're going to be closing in on, making a run at that top 15? Like, tell me where you're hoping to be.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be in the top 15. I'm getting started early in 2023. Hopefully, I can get at least two more fights, and after this one, stay healthy. Get some exciting finishes, and definitely be in the top 15 by the end of 2023.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait to see what's next for you. Obviously, it starts with April 15th, this big fight with Dana. Great talking to you, as always, buddy. Before we do sign off, want to give you the floor. Anyone you want to thank, please do so and tell people where they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, thanks to my coaches, Rick Little, James Weed, Hernando Thola, all my training partners back home at Sick Jitsu and Newborn and Alpha. You can follow me on Instagram, Brady underscore Bam Bam, Twitter, Brady Hiestand one, and Facebook's just my name, Brady Hiestand. Thank you so much.